Welcome to Survivor NSFW Labor of Love edition. I'm here with my friend Zack Hacker from my hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. And let me just tell you, Johnny Fairplay has some shit going on tonight. And over the years, Zack, I love Survivor, not only as a fan, but playing the game and then doing this podcast. So rarely am I ever really interested in necessarily covering a lot of other shows. I don't watch a whole lot of other television. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Johnny's tried to get me to watch The Bachelorette, which we did. And I got through a couple episodes, but I literally hated every minute of it. Okay. So typically a show like Labor of Love, there's no fucking way that I would watch this type of show. However, there is a friend of mine from our hometown. He lives in Cincinnati. I've hung out with this dude on multiple occasions. Survivor Gabon castaway, Dr. Marcus Lehman. Marcus is an anesthesiologist. He's a good-looking dude. I've seen him at different events over the years with many, many chicks. And I found out about a year, No, it wasn't a year ago. We were at the Softball with the Stars event, and I saw Marcus came over to this party and kind of hinted at this show. I didn't know anything about it. There was no spoilers given. I just knew Marcus was going to be on some show. So the time is near. This was episode 1 on Fox, Labor of Love. The premise of this show, Zack, is you have this single chick who's, a lot of these dating shows are very similar. This girl, she wants a husband and a father. She wants to become a mom, and she's going to become a mom regardless of if she finds love or not. She's got, working with a fertility doctor and so forth. She's 41 years old. She's from Chicago. And that is the bachelorette, if you will, in this scenario. But the show's called Labor of Love. So she's wanting to become a mom. What is your first impression like? Excuse me. Have you watched any kind of shows like this in the past?
I have never seen a single minute of a dating show. This is the first time I've checked out a dating show. So, I watched it with my wife. I was hoping that she would have seen some dating shows before, but she is not either. So we're just sitting there like, what the hell is going on as they're parading these people out? I couldn't tell if this was a dating show or a sperm donor competition. It was a little, we'll get into it, but yeah, I truly, the premise, I didn't understand at first if they were going to be dating or if this was just to see who got to be the father of this child. Very confusing from the start. It's hosted by Kristen Davis, though, from Sex and the City. So that was cool to see her. And she comes out and she says she was in a similar situation and she ended up doing adoption, which felt to me like a strange way to open the show because that seems more like the normal recourse if you are 41 instead of going on a show and having people compete for being a co-parent with you.
Right. And I was watching with my wife. I'm obviously a dad. And for me, man, it's like finding my soulmate, my best friend, my wife, Tessa, and then, getting married and then eventually having kids was kind of just a natural progression of what, I was not like sitting there at, I don't even know how old I was. But let's say I wasn't sitting there at 25 saying, I need to find a chick. I need to get married immediately. I want to be married for 2.5 years, and then I want to have 2 kids. It's something that just happens. It just happens, man. Yeah. And it's just like a natural thing. So for me to be like, to watch a show like this, and I was asking my wife, like, man, this is kind of weird. She's like, well, not if you're 41 and your biological time clock is ticking and you really want to have kids. She's like, that's a different scenario than being in your 20s, right? Yeah. So Go ahead.
Yeah, it felt a little strange and clinical, but when you think about it, it makes sense that there is some sort of agreement that needs to be made of we're sort of at the end of our rope here. We need to make this decision. I have a family right now. And some of the romance can go out the window, I think, from the start because you need to just fast forward to the midpoint of the relationship, I guess. So,
but
that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing is weird. So here's the deal. So she's trying to find a dad. So they end up, well, first, a little bit about her. She's looking for romance, looking for someone to have a child with. She was married at age 37, but divorced 6 months after her wedding. So that's a little bit of red flag to me on this chick in general. Like if I was one of these bachelor dudes that's going with her, I would be like, like, why were you married and then divorced after 6 months? Are you psycho? Are you unstable? Or was it, maybe she married some asshole dude? But you would think that, like, I kind of knew what I was getting into when I married my wife. And we've been married it'll be 20 years in December that we've been married. And we were together 2 years before that. So I've been with my wife for 22 years. So, that would be a red flag for me if I was the dude. But she got divorced 6 months after. She's willing to become a mom with or without a man. So she shows up at this house in Atlanta. It's a beautiful house. And then she meets the Sex and the City host of the show. Kristen Davis, is that her name?
That is her name, yeah.
Okay, so what I found odd is they introduce one another. And then she is saying how she actually wanted to become a mom, but she actually adopted children.
Right.
So it's like, that is an interesting thing to say because, with this person who's wanting to obviously have biological children, I mean, adoption's always a great option, but I don't know. I found that a little weird, but she gets introduced, this is a beautiful house. It's this setting and then the 15 bachelors are basically introduced. And the very first one, it's like Survivor, bam. Like I was the very first confessional of Survivor Caramoan after the marooning. Bam. I'm like, I want to play this show, blah, blah, blah. So my man Marcus, first dude to walk out of the car. I think this could be a little bit of foreshadowing, dude, that Marcus, he's my friend, so I'm a little bit biased, but he seems like a cool dude on the show in comparison. Like if a viewer doesn't know who Marcus is from Adam and they're just judging it based off the other 14 men, he's a pretty cool guy. He's mellow, he's chill. There's a lot of douchebags, dude, in my opinion, that are walking out of this fucking car.
Oh yeah, and there's a shit ton of people. I can't keep any of their names straight. I've got like curly haired guy, drunk guy, Marcus.
Yeah. It's funny. Go ahead.
No, I thought Marcus kind of emerged as our narrator early on. He's the first one out there, and he's sort of telling us what's going on as each scene changes. You can tell he's been on reality TV before. He knows how this works.
Yeah, and I saw an article earlier. I forget, it popped up on like Reality Blurred or something like that, Survivor does prepare you for a show like this. You're used to the confessional. His nerves, although he'll be nervous in a scenario like this, he knows what he's getting into with production. And this is like I guarantee you this is a way smaller scale production, than Survivor could even dream of. So this is like a cakewalk to Marcus. And he does, and we see this throughout this episode. He's the one that reads some, like the tree mail version on this show. It's like there's a TV screen that's, we're going to do this, this, this. So Marcus is definitely a narrative. So we got Jason, who's the North Carolina country boy, a Southern dude. We have Matt, who's this wrestler, probably a friend of Johnny Fairplay's.
He is a friend of Johnny Fairplay's. I was going to say, Johnny sent me some.
Oh God! Did he send you the fucking fucking dick? So Johnny sends me fucking dick pics of this fucking guy, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, and it's like, that's this is Matt Stryker. There's his dick, which I really don't want to see the dude's fucking dick, but
no, but apparently you can Google it.
Yeah, apparently you can. Apparently you can. So we got Matt the wrestler dude. We got Alan, 39-year-old dude from South Africa. You have Trent, which is my actual middle name. Tennis instructor, comes from a big family. You got Stuart, who's a CEO from Los Angeles. You have a firefighter, Angelo from Miami. Philip was a long-haired guy from LA. He's a medical technician at a children's hospital. You have Tali, age 46, one of the older dudes from Miami, is an attorney. You have a gym owner named Keith, who's 38 years old. You have a guy named Gary, who is a baseball bat manufacturer, which I found interesting. It's like he started this company in his basement or something, and then now he makes, I'm assuming, like wooden, like Louisville Slugger type baseball bats.
Yeah, we're so close to Louisville. I was like, why is there any competition for Louisville Slugger? I don't understand. But okay, sure. I guess there's a market for that. But,
Yeah, right. We got Walker, who's a funeral director. We have a 6'8" sales and marketing dude named Kyle from one of my favorite cities, Austin, Texas. We have Mario, age 40, who's an optician. What is that? Like an eye doctor or something like that, maybe. And then a guy named Budge or Budge. I don't fucking know. This guy's a conservative guy. This dude's age 44. I believe. Let me look at my notes here. So yeah, he's the last guy to come out. So as everyone's coming out of the vehicle, they're all going to the bar and grabbing a drink, which it's kind of like, you know what, we're on a TV show. Let's just kind of loosen up a little bit, have a couple cocktails. And this guy's the only one out of all of them that I noticed that didn't drink anything. And there's nothing wrong with that. It was just like, this guy's,
there's a great cut of him with like a Mexican restaurant size glass of water, just mean mugging everybody just down in water. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, here's the deal. I think there's two opposite ends of the spectrum. You got a guy like Marcus who, maybe he's pouring a glass of wine or some champagne or something. Then you have that Jason dude who's like getting totally fucking hammered. And then you got the dude Budge or Boo, whatever the fuck his name is, that's not drinking at all. So if I'm the chick, I would be, looking at this group, I'd be concerned with the drunk guy and the guy that doesn't drink anything. Especially,
Yeah, he says he's a conservative guy with morals is his quote, but he's, spoiler alert, going to be masturbating in a porta potty in like 5 minutes. So I don't know about that.
Dude, I know. So that's, I want to get to that. So like, finally the dudes all meet Christy. They're like, oh, she's beautiful and blah, blah, blah. And then immediately the first thing we see after their little met up introductions is these waiter dudes come out with these little specimen cups and they have to go into this fucking trailer, dude, and literally go in there and jerk off and give a sperm donation in this cup. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, would I be embarrassed to like go like jerk off in a scenario like that? I mean, I'm kind of down with doing whatever, right? However, it's like, that's not the most opportune time to do something like that. That kind of like threw me for a loop, dude. Like, would you want to be with other guys outside, like waiting on you, like in this fucking bathroom, like pulling your pants down with your manscaped cock out and like jerking it into a fucking specimen cup?
Dude, I don't even like peeing in urinals at like football games. This sounds terrible. And then you got drunk Jason fist bumping everybody as they're coming out.
Oh yeah. I know. Oh. It was some of our listeners. See, this is like a bonus pod. We really didn't do much promotion about this, so no one really knows we're doing it. So like someone's like, what did I walk into? We're talking about jerking off into specimen cups. But so the dudes go into the fucking trailer and they all give a specimen. And then the next scene is literally there's a Dr. Kaplan, which is I was like, is this Corinne Kaplan from Survivor Gabon's grandpa? This is a fertility doctor, and he's here to give the results, man. And it's like the range of sperm count goes from like 7 million all the way up to 317 million sperm per load. Well, going back, I think it was funny because someone asks them, I'm assuming, like, has anyone here ejaculated within the last 5 days? And like half the guys raise their hand, and then these other guys are like, motherfucker, you're a liar. Raise your damn hand. I know you have. And I just fucking, I'm kind of like laughing. Like, I'm looking over at my wife.
This is how they're opening the show.
I know. And I'm like, shit, man. I'm like, Survivor is a family show, right? Like I enjoy watching Survivor with my wife and my kids. And I have a 13-year-old who's going through his puberty and probably, who knows what's up with him. And then I got a younger son, and I find myself, if I was to be watching this show with them, I would feel probably a little bit uncomfortable. I'd be like, what am I supposed to? I mean, this is a show that's on from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern, but I've never seen a dating show, and I don't watch these shows, so someone could correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a dating show where dudes jerk off into cups for the first time. But the Corinne's grandpa, Dr. Kaplan, comes in, and this dude Alan from South Africa wins with 317 million sperm, and he like has his trophy, and he's like, I did it for the swimmers or whatever, for the sperm. But we see Marcus, who, like you said, dude, is the narrator. There we see a clip of Marcus like, look, man, like being a father is not just about your fucking sperm count. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't even know what, I don't know. I think before I had kids, there was a period of time where we had a little bit of issues having, like, we were trying and nothing was happening. And I actually went to a place and did the same thing, but I wasn't doing it on national TV in front of people. But my sperm ended up being fine, and we ended up having fucking kids. And but yeah, it is true. Like Marcus, it's not all about that. I mean, but fuck, 317 million sperm. I told Tess, I got Johnny Fairplay's beard right here, right? But like, let's say you have let's say in your hand you have a pile of jizz that you just ejaculated into that fucking sperm specimen cup. The fact that 317 million little tiny sperm are in that load of semen that create a baby, that's pretty from a medical standpoint, dude. That's pretty fascinating.
I can't wrap my head around that number. Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, like, because I see my kids, and it's like, man, like some people take it for granted that they can have kids no problem, but some people do have a lot of fertility issues. So the one thing I do like about this is, just kind of bringing fertility and how having kids even in a relationship is not always something that just comes easy and natural. Are you wanting to have kids one day? Or
I am not, no. Which I teach all day. My wife works in a school all day, so we're a little kitted out. But I'm 29, so we've got a little bit of time before we have to decide.
So does your wife want kids?
She does not, no.
So you both don't. Okay, well, right. That's good, because I think if one person was on one side of the coin, and the other, then that would be a bad situation. But in this show, obviously, it appears that the guys are wanting to have kids, and she's wanting to. So
yeah. Well, real quick, with this sort of sperm count competition they're doing here, I was wondering, did they do this ahead of time as a screener? Because what would they have done if one of these guys came back and it was like, no, you're incapable of having children? That would be a really shitty moment on television.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think they would. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think leading this to the shock value, putting these guys on the spot immediately, they're probably like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like but yeah, I mean, there was one guy that had 7 million sperm. So 7 compared to 300 and something's a big fucking difference, So maybe that guy is not real fertile. But So
and
we go
Alan
to,
gets an actual trophy. So
he does.
for anyone who didn't watch this, they handed him a real trophy.
They did.
Where does he put it? Where would you put a number one semen count trophy in your house?
Well, put it this way. I would most likely throw it away. Like I've been to many beard and mustache competitions over the years, right?
Yeah.
Some of my awards and accolades there's a couple that I've kept, right? Because you get trophies or certificates or whatever. Like there's a few that I've kept that are like near and dear, but they're not like displayed in my house necessarily. Now, there was a lot of other ones that I had won at, trophies and awards that one day I'm like, Tessa is not going to let me put these fucking things plastered on my shelf above my fucking fireplace. So I just threw the fuckers away. I just threw them because I'm like, dude, what do I fucking care about this shit? Yeah. I have a fucking long beard.
There's the trophy right there. Yeah.
That's the trophy, right? So, if Johnny Fairplay though were on this show and had that fucking sperm count trophy would be, back here on the wall for Survivor NSFW, dude. Like he would be like, John,
well, that would be awesome. And I love Marcus, but I got to say I'm rooting for Alan just so that they can have this kid and that trophy can be in the living room and that kid can grow up looking at the damn thing.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious, dude. So they go, dude, after this sperm deal, Alan gets his trophy. They split up into these two houses. There's like the house where she lives in and the house where the guys live in. And this is night one. Everyone's a little nervous and everyone's had a little bit of cocktails. And that Jason dude gets fucking hammered, right? Yeah. And I kind of was like, you know what? Even when this was going down, I'm watching it. I'm trying to give this guy the benefit of the doubt because, for one, before I was on Survivor, dude, I was on a TV show called Miami Inc. on TLC. So our listeners, if you're watching this after the fact or whatever, and you go to look at old episodes of Miami Inc., the episode I was on, I think it was like season 5. It was called Old Friends is the title of the episode. And that was my first bout with reality television. And so I go on Miami Inc. and it was pretty nerve-wracking at first, and I had done a lot of on-camera shit, dude, from BMX riding and different things. I used to do my own TV show in the 90s. So I was used to being on camera, but I'm like, this is a pretty big television show. So I can understand why Jason is kind of trying to calm the nerves by drinking and getting a little bit carried away, but he ends up fucking puking in the toilet and one of the other dudes is kind of helping him out. And I think this is painting a picture like, is this just a benefit of the doubt deal or does this guy have an alcohol problem?
Yeah, and we'll hold that question until the very end because it's left on an ominous note.
It is left on an ominous note. And he seemed truly bummed about his behavior afterwards. So we're kind of getting to a point where the first interaction after this, the first night, the sperm thing, the next day they go to the backyard where they have cornhole and like bocce ball and I don't know what other things did you know? They had a pretty badass backyard.
Croquet. Yeah, it looked awesome. There's a hot tub out there. It looked very cool.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a barbecue. And they're like, you know what? Let's get this chick out here, and we see a guy talking about serenading her, and he ends up calling her Cindy.
Yeah, it's the sperm guy.
Yeah. Alan. So Alan, the sperm guy, is saying we should go fucking serenade Cindy, and dudes are like, Cindy. Like, put it this way, dude, I am bad with names. When I was on Survivor, Zach, and it's like day one, and I'm doing a confessional with the producers, and I'm trying to kind of break down what's going on. I was like, so it was like me and Michael. And then, you have to think about at first, like these people, so I don't really, although I think it's funny, I don't think it's outlandish that the dude didn't know her name. I mean, like I said, all these dudes are nervous and whatever. So
it's going to be bad though if they start playing some strategy, because that's going to make him look pretty bad to Christy.
Oh, it is because Christy's gonna be like, man, is this dude like, is he here for the right reasons? And if I'm this chick, I'm truly gonna wonder that. You know, it's like these dating shows. It's like, are you trying to get famous or something like that, right? Or are you really trying to find love? And I want to talk to Marcus in depth about this, and we'll have him on the podcast to like talk to him about like, dude, like, were you really trying to find going into this, you know, love and to become a dad? Or was just like, what is this show? Oh, I could make, you know, 50 grand for being on the show. You know, I don't know what the money is, but I'm saying like some people might do it for the money or just the experience of being on a reality TV. So Christy ends up coming out. My boy Trent gives her a drink and then immediately pulls her away to talk. There's always the guy in these shows that, you know, I'm going to be the first guy to like make a stand and pull you out and talk to you first. She seemed kind of, I mean, this is a brief talk. She, you know, I don't think she was like majorly impressed necessarily by it, but what she was impressed about was Marcus Lehman from Survivor Gabon. When Marcus comes out, Zach, he's cool. He's chill. He's not some over-the-top douche. And she makes a comment that she has an instant crush on Marcus Lehman.
Yeah. She says it's like talking to herself because they have so much in common there. They both work in the medical field. Their careers have taken a similar path. I think he's really emerging as the front runner here.
I do too, because the thing is, it's like, even when it's hard to keep all 15 of these guys, keep track of them all. However, like, there's a lot of them. Matt the wrestler has this kind of like his personality. Then you got the drunk guy, like, maybe he's got. Then you got the shy guys. Marcus seems like one of the dudes that actually is just like middle of the road. He's calm. He's not trying to be this over the top personality, and he's just a real dude. And he's like watching Marcus is like the Marcus that I know as my friend that played Survivor. Marcus is just a cool fucking guy. You know what I mean?
He came across as incredibly genuine. And when some of the other guys were being really douchey, he was sort of off to the side, not participating with all the, you know, I thought the slow clap to let's get Christy out here was a bit much. And he was just sort of standing there, like arms folded. Like,
I mean, I wonder, dude, like, God, is he thinking like, as he's watching this tonight, is he like if I'm on a dating show, dude, like, you're putting yourself out there for people to see, right?
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of people have been watching a lot of television because of quarantine and whatever. Survivor is one thing. A lot of eyes are on Survivor. Such a big show. I'm not sure how Labor of Love is going to do in the ratings, but if I was on a show like Labor of Love and I had not seen the edit yet of the show, I would be like pretty fucking nervous about looking like a douche on a damn a show like this.
Especially when they bust out the like first competition is to go jizz in a porta potty.
I know.
I'd be out right there. No.
I know. Oh my! Like, I would be like, all right, you guys got to go jerk off into this. I'd be like, well, can I at least take my phone in there to look at like porn sites or something? You know what I mean?
Oh, God.
Or all I'd have to do really is like text Johnny Fairplay real quick and be like, Johnny, can you send me like some jerk material from your fucking library it's on your iPhone? But yeah, Marcus is great. Then we see Jason, the Southern drunk dude, give her some flowers. And he's not cool, or he's not drunk this time. He's actually a pretty cool guy. You know, like I think, I mean, we'll see later. I think this guy probably does have a drinking problem. But he also seems just like a cool guy. He actually looks a lot. I used to work in the BMX industry, and one of our big customers in Australia, he looked like this guy that I dealt with in Australia, my friend. this BMX guy. But anyways, we see this guy. Is his name Tally? Tali?
Tally. I don't know.
Yeah. So Tali, that dude seems shady.
Yeah, what was up with that conversation? He was like, she would ask him any question about himself, and he would go, "That's a good question, but that brings me to one thing I wanted to ask you."
Yeah, I know.
The questions she was asking were so basic too, about like, "Oh, why do you want to be here?" or "What makes you want to start a family?" And he couldn't give an answer.
No, and that's a major red flag. And she's like, "Is this dude hiding something? Like, why wouldn't you?" She's trying. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this dude wants to get to know her. But it's like, dude, if the ball is in her court and she wants to know about Tali and there's going to be some sort of elimination coming up, you're like, hey, my name's Tali. I do this. I'm looking for a family. This guy was shady as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And then she claims like kind of like we're talking about this. It's hard to keep track of these 15 guys. She's like, man, this is way harder than I thought, like dating 15 guys at a time. You know what I mean?
It's hard for me to watch 15 guys and know any of their names, so I can imagine. Yeah.
Oh, it is. It is. I mean, that's why I fucking take notes. We see Philip, the long-haired guy, who decides to be one of these other guys that's like, hey, baby, let me take you in the house. I'm a little bit cold, and I want to take you away from all this these dudes. And he goes in there, and he gives her some sort of like moon rocks. Like,
what the hell is that?
I'm like, if I'm a chick and this like dude comes in and is like, baby doll, I got something that really means a lot to me that I want to give you. And she's like, oh yeah, what is it? And he's like, I got these fucking moon rocks. I'd be like, you're fucking voted out right now, brother.
Yeah, I thought maybe when he said moon rocks, it was going to be something cool. They just looked like shitty pebbles that he picked up on the side of the road or something. And he's handing them to her like they're a treasure. He notices he doesn't have a pocket anywhere to put them. And then I was suddenly reminded when this guy's giving a confessional, it's like 40 years old. Like if you're an 18-year-old space cadet surfer, bro, I'd be like, all right, that's one thing. This dude's like 40 years old. She's 100% right. He is not ready to start a family. What the hell?
No, and this dude, she's worried that the dude's too shy. It's like the surfer bro dude, like moon rocks, he's shy. And she ends up saying later how she's attracted to this guy. Like, this guy's really attractive, but this guy's on a different level. You don't bring moon rocks to the fucking, you know what I'm saying? If it's Johnny Fairplay, you know what he would be he would be pointing out like baseball cards of himself that are autographed. And he'd be like, yeah, hey baby, I got to give you something.
Yeah.
This is an autographed Johnny Fairplay picture. And you know what? For $10 a month, you could join my Patreon page and go to johnnyfairplay.com and buy a fucking t-shirt. But yeah, I don't get it. And the other thing I found awkward, they keep showing throughout these clips of the guys' families.
Oh yeah.
That with some like shitty fucking wallpapered background. And they're like, oh, yeah, this is my nephew or this is my son, and I really hope he settles down. It just seemed out of place. Like, I didn't really understand that. Did you get that vibe or no?
Yeah, they never had any substance to them. They were pretty weird. I guess they're giving us those to provide some backstory for who these guys are so we can try to meet them a little bit. But, you know, the parents end up making really cheesy jokes. It feels scripted. And they don't really come at obvious points either. It's never like, we just met this guy. Here's a little bit of his family life. It's just randomly thrown in. Here's 5 seconds of his mom talking about how she needs a grandkid. Like,
I found that to be, and you know, obviously I watch Survivor and I've seen Amazing Race, Big Brother, a lot of reality television, and I'm sure you've seen like way more than I even have.
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
So, but I mean, that did seem just, you know, it's like, I guess it's sort of like the confessional type scene, but with these family members, but it just didn't seem to flow. It just seemed to be like in the middle of what's going on, they show this person's freaking family, and it just didn't really make a lot of sense.
Right. And we'd cut from like Jason might have a drinking problem to just his mom saying that he should get kids. Like, they're not talking about what's going on the TV at all. They're just commenting on what the hell ever.
I know. It's crazy. And I start thinking like, man, imagine like, so I have my own kids. If my son is like, one of my kids is like 40 and on a dating show trying to find kids and I'm having to do a confessional, I'm like, dude, God help me. Like this is fucking bizarre, but more power to him.
Sure.
So after this whole deal, we go to more or less elimination time. So she's got to meet these guys. She's got to kind of do, get small introductions. And you can kind of tell, dude, even on Survivor, for example, I bring it back to that. So like you're on your tribe and it's like day one, you're building shelter and you're getting to know people in on your tribe. And there's certain people that you really hit it off with and vibe with immediately. And there's other people that you're like, there's no fucking way that I can work with this person in the game. Like,
yeah,
there's no way. And there's other people that you're like, I can make an alliance with you right now. And I feel like you're my brother or my sister. And we're going to go all the way to the end. So I think she's got a vibe from some of these guys. So it's elimination time, which they call it decision time. So she's got like, they're using technology. The guys are in their their house and they see on a TV screen what she is choosing. And it's basically there's a let's keep dating column or a we need to talk column. So the let's keep dating is the guys that are safe, more or less. And the I need to talk or we need to talk column, I was assuming was going to be like, these guys are up for eviction or elimination or your typical reality TV show thing. So we end up finding 4 dudes that go into the we need to talk room. We have Tolly, Stuart, Philip, and Jason the drunk guy. So Tolly is up first, and I knew this is the shady guy that we saw who didn't give her shit as far as anything about him. So it didn't surprise me that, the 4 guys that were chosen for the we need to talk, at least 2 or 3 out of the 4, I'm like, okay, she doesn't like these guys.
Oh, yeah. You've got the drunk guy, the sketchy guy, the moon rocks guy, and then Stuart seems normal. So
Right. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I love this. Is so fucking funny because I'm never used to talking about, the drunk guy, the moon rock guy. I mean, if this show becomes super popular, we need a fucking like shirt that says moon rock guy.
Oh, yeah.
But so Tali is up first. She's like, dude, I had a hard time, getting this guy to open up. He seemed shady. There was zero connection. And the thing I like about this is she's like, I'm not going to waste any time, dude. There was no fucking connection. I'm sorry. Good luck. Thanks for coming out. You're out of here. And he fucking leaves.
Yeah.
And I feel that this is probably the reason that Tali is 46 years old with no wife, no girlfriend, and no chance of becoming a dad. Because Tali's a fucking like weird dude, right?
Hopefully he can watch himself on TV and learn how he's coming across to people, because that was really awkward watching him talk to anyone.
It was, and like I said, dude, 46. I mean, fuck. Like, even if I'm wondering if his age played into her decision, because it's like 46, dude. Like, even as women's biological time clock is ticking, obviously in their 40s, but even a guy, it's like 46. Fuck. If we have kids now, dude, you're going to be like 100 years old when our kids graduating high school. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I will say about the ages, I was glad most of the cast is pretty close to her age. She's 41. They're all late 30s, 40s. They didn't roll in a bunch of like hot 20-year-olds to make the reality TV show thing happen. So I was glad about that.
Yeah, I was too. That's a good point. So Tali is gone, and then Stuart, who seems the most normal out of these 4 that are in this room right now. She's like, listen, dude, I want to continue dating you. Like, I just wanted to bring you here to let you know that I appreciate you. I'm acknowledging that we have some sort of connection here, right? And I thought that was pretty cool. I think that he was probably shitting his pants, and I think that they did this for, some sort of suspense, or like, why is this guy on the we need to talk list? Because when they were talking earlier in the episode, I'm like, they seem like they're having some sort of connection. I was kind of surprised. So it looks to me like if you're up on this we need to talk scenario, it might not always be that you're on the chopping block, right? It might be just, hey, I want to tell you away from the other guys that I'm falling in love with you, and I don't want these other guys to know right now, or something. You know what I mean? We'll see how it plays out. We got Philip, the long-haired guy. And what do you think about this? What do you think about him and how she reacted here?
I mean, I thought that was the right move. He seemed pretty immature to me. I mean, as a 29-year-old, he seemed pretty immature with how he's approaching this relationship. Again, the moon rocks, the like slow, easygoing pace of everything he was doing and talking about himself. I agree. If you're attracted to him, that's one thing. But this is a show about starting a family, so yeah, get him out of there. I like it.
And she was attracted to him too. She even said that, like, man, like, but it's not always, because looks go away, dude. I mean, first, I have a pretty fucking damn hot wife. I've been with her for 22 years, but she has a fucking husband with a giant snake dreadlock beard down to my feet. So I'm never going to be one to like judge somebody else and like, wow, how is that chick with that dude, or how is that dude with that chick? Because anything can happen. But, so attractiveness isn't always everything, because this guy obviously was not on the same wavelength, and Philip is gone. No hard feelings, and he can go collect his fucking moon rocks from now on. Then Jason comes in. Jason is the Southern dude that we saw drunk puking at the beginning of the episode. She kind of makes a point like, it's like red flag. Like, I mean, dude, here's the thing. There's like, I'm drinking PBR right now, right?
Yep.
You're having, there's a difference between chilling out. Yeah. There's a difference between like chilling out and having a couple beers versus getting completely inebriated, hammered. And if she is wanting to start a family, she's like, look, your drinking was a little bit out of control, dude. And if you want to be a dad, I can't be like having this drunk dude, as a potential father of my kids. Like, that's not the impression that I would want to give to a woman right away.
Right. Yeah.
That I'm some wasted fucking dude. Right. So he apologizes, and she ends up saying, look, I like the fact that you have a flooring business, which I thought was kind of funny. Like, is she really liking that? Or is she like, would rather have the guy be like the CEO fucking guy, right? But she wants to give him another chance. And he's like, look, I haven't drank since the first night, and I'm done drinking during this show. Like, I'm not going to drink again. Okay. Yeah. He gets a chance. He gets another chance. So we got.
And at this point, I'm really happy, because I'm sitting there with my wife thinking, one of our best friends in the world, my buddy Billy, the first time I met him, he met us in a cabin down in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yeah.
And he was.
I love Gatlinburg, by the way.
Oh, yeah. And he was real nervous to be meeting all these new people. And he ends up drinking like 15 beers and pukes off the deck. And we're like, who is this troll who just showed up on our vacation and is drunk everywhere? Now he's one of my best friends in the world. So I'm like, cool, give Jason another try. But then 3 seconds later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I thought. I thought, you know what? I'm giving this guy the benefit of the doubt, because I even had in my notes earlier on. I was like, this guy may be nervous that he's on reality TV, got a little carried away, got wasted the first night. I've been there, dude. Like, I've been in situations where it's like, you get excited, you're a little nervous, you have a couple beers, and then the next thing you know, you're like, oh man, like I've had too much to drink, but I was doing that just to kind of calm my nerves. I mean, I've done that like singing in a band earlier on when I was younger. It's like, oh my God, like I got anxiety to play a show tonight, and you start drinking, and the next thing you know, you're fucking hammered, and you're like, fuck, that's a bad idea. So this guy, I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. He claims he's not going to drink anymore. And then the next scene is all the guys like celebrating the fact that they've made it to the next round. They didn't get evicted, and they're all popping champagne. And the dude just starts drinking immediately again, popping directly after he told her that he's done drinking. So I have a feeling that this dude is, if he doesn't get voted out early, I think we're going to see a couple episodes of this guy having this drinking issue, and I think it's going to be brought up again. I think what she might do is he's going to drink again, and then he's going to have to explain to her, baby doll, I'm sorry. I'm not going to do this anymore. And she might say, okay, give him another chance. But I don't think this guy has a snowball's chance in hell of being the end guy. So we see this. So we see Philip, the long-haired guy, and Tali voted out. So there was 15 guys. So now we have 13 guys. And we see a preview of next week's episode where it looks like it's some kind of camping excursion. Everyone's like, hell no, it's going to be cold. And I'm like, this is perfect for Marcus Lehman. This is right. Yeah. This is right in Marcus's wheelhouse. And I want to know, Zach, do you think that Marcus will tell her that he was on Survivor? Like if they're at this next episode, episode 2, do you think there'll be a situation that there's a campfire and they're camping and he'll be like, hey, I got something to tell you. I've actually camped like this before. I was on a TV show called Survivor Gabon. Do you think that's going to be brought up or no?
Oh man, it's Fox. So if it does come up, I don't know if we'll see it. Yeah. But I think it's going to come up. It would have to, right?
Right. That's
got to be in his like Twitter bio. It's got to be there.
Yeah. So overall, here's the deal. I tapped out on The Bachelorette. I fucking hated it. And I said, Johnny, I cannot do this. And we're at the time we were trying to like broaden our horizons with covering other shows. I get it. But I don't watch a whole lot of TV, dude, honestly, like peek behind the curtain, as Johnny would say. I watch Survivor. I'll watch The Amazing Race when it comes on. And I watch a lot of movies with my family, but I don't watch a ton of TV because I'm doing like music, and last week I did fucking 6 podcasts in a week.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's like I enjoy creating, dude. Music, podcast, video editing, playing guitar, hanging out with my kids. So I hated doing The Bachelorette. Now today I actually enjoyed watching this because I have a good friend. If you were on a reality show, I'd be fucking watching it no matter what it was, right? So to support you. So props to Marcus. You did not come off like a douche. Although I think this show is like, interesting. We see dudes jerking off into a cup, and then we see a couple douchebags get eliminated. But it's going to be interesting. I think we're going to, to get some character development from some of these other guys, especially as it narrows down and we see some more one-on-one time. So, hey, if I'm going to watch a dating show, as long as like one of my Survivor compadres is on it, I'll fucking watch it. I don't care if it was Marcus or Corinne or Abby Maria. I'm here to support Marcus on his journey, and Marcus will be coming on the Survivor NSFW podcast. And Marcus is also going to be doing his own podcast called The Juggle Struggle. So be looking out for that. We'll give you guys information. But yeah, he wants to do a podcast with a friend of his. So overall, Zach, what did you think of your first relationship reality TV show, dating show?
I'm still struggling with the format with all the characters, but if I'm going to be watching a dating show, I want it to be the one where there are guys jacking off in a trailer in the first 10 minutes of the show. So, yeah, why not?
This is like perfect for Survivor NSFW's wheelhouse, dude. So, listeners, thank you so much for if you're like, what in the fuck is Zach and Matt talking about? This was a episode 1 recap of Labor of Love on Fox, where Dr. Marcus Lehman, Survivor Gabon, Castaway, good friend of mine, lives in Zach and mine's hometown of Cincinnati, Ohio. And I'm hoping this show, I believe, if Marcus goes far, which I hope he does, there may be a chance where we get to do some sort of viewing party. I mean, if this pandemic turns out to be not a big deal, Zach, I might just be like, hey, Marcus, come over to my patio, and I'm going to invite Zach and his wife over, and we'll fucking just
that'd be a blast.
Watch the fucking show. So we'll see.
It's gonna be spoiled if Christy's with him. So
yeah, right on. I love it. But Zach, thank you very, very much, and listeners, hope you all enjoyed this. We'll be covering all. I'm committing, no matter what, to finishing all 8 episodes of Labor of Love. So we will see you next week. Thursday nights, this is on from 9 to 10 p.m., and we'll be podcasting immediately after. And sometimes it'll be Zach and I. Sometimes it might be Johnny and I. Marcus Lehman might be on the podcast. So thank you guys. Hope you dug it. And we will see you guys next time on Survivor NSFW. And also, real quick, we have a lot of shit coming up on Survivor NSFW Network. We have Karen's new show, and we have all the links to T-shirts and our Patreon page at survivornsfw.com. But Zach, if you want to tell a little bit about your Survivor show that you're doing, and what is the scoop on that before we let our listeners go?
Yeah, the scoop on my new show is it's not coming out yet. I'm still working on video editing right now, but it's going to be called Survivor Relics. And I have talked to, at this point, 17 former survivors from the old school days. And I've gone back to try to ask some questions. What is old school Survivor and what makes it different than new school Survivor? And we're digging into some of the relics of Survivor past, the rites of passage, the reunion show, the Exile Island, the Survivor auction, some of the things we haven't seen in a while. And then I'm trying to talk to former survivors and fans and talking about whether we need to bring it back, whether we need to let it die, and what value it adds to the show.
Now, how stoked are you, these 17 people that you've talked to, you're a Survivor fan?
Oh, yeah.
What's this like been for you just doing these interviews? Is it like, wow, like you haven't got to actually play Survivor, but doing this, I'm assuming, is the next best thing?
Yeah, it's been just amazing hearing stories. Taking me back to, I've been watching the show since it first came out. I was 10 or 11 years old, and just kind of hearing some of these stories from behind the scenes, things I've never heard, what it must have been like to be out there. And I love New School Survivor, but there are certain seasons, like Survivor Africa is my favorite season of all time. And just, I got to sit down for 2.5 hours with Lex and talk through everything that happened that season. And that was just incredible, the perspective he can provide.
Oh yeah. Lex is the man. When I did my Survivor pregame interviews for Caramoa, and they're like, who would you most likely play like? And I said Lex. He was one of my favorites, and he turned into becoming one of my dearest friends that I've met from the Survivor world. And Lex is fucking awesome. So be on the lookout for Zach's show. Find out everything that's going on, survivornsfw.com. And we'll see you next week on another Labor of Love fucking podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Good night.